Good morning, guys. You're able to hear me? In the last session, we discussed something about data types. Do you remember what is data types? Data types will represent what type of data we store into the memory, and we have classified the data types into some types. What types here? Primitive data types, derived data types, and user-defined data types. What do you mean by primitive data types? Primitive data types are predefined and they are designed for storing single value. Derived data types are predefined and they are designed for storing multiple values. Derived data types are predefined and they are designed for storing multiple values. User-defined data types are those data types which are created by the user, created by the programmer. Those are called as user-defined data types, where we can store any number of values, any type of values according to your requirement. We are only going to create them. We are only going to store them. Is a point clear here? That is what user-defined data types. And in Java language, we have 8 primitive data types, 8. And we have classified that 8 of them into 4 categories. What are 4 categories? Integer category, floating point category, character category, and Boolean category. And Boolean category. Different categories available. Each category is meant for storing different data. Integer category is meant for storing numbers, either positive or negative, without decimal point. Without decimal point. Under the integer category, we have 4 data types. And what are the 4? Byte, short, int, and long. All 4 of them are storing same kind of content, but their sizes and ranges are different. So that we can utilize the memory efficiently without any wastage. And we have floating point category. Floating point category is meant for storing numbers, positive or negative, with a decimal point. And there you have 2 types, float and double. Both are meant for storing same kind of content. Again, sizes are different, ranges are different. And coming to the third category called character category. Character category has only one type called char. Only one type called char, and using which we can store a single character. Only one character can be stored. Multiple characters cannot be stored there. And the size of the char is 2 bytes. And we can store characters of all the foreign languages there. That is about your char data type there. And the fourth category, the last one, is called what? Boolean category, where we have only one type called Boolean, and where you can store true and false. Where you can store true and false. What is size of that Boolean? It depends upon the JVM. And JVM can be released by only Sun Microsystems. No, dear. Java language will be released by Sun Microsystems, but the JVM can be released by what? The JVM can be released by anyone in the world. So whichever fellow develops the JVM will decide the size of the Boolean. These are different things that we have discussed there. Now, I'm developing an application here. This is the memory present in my machine. And in my memory, I want to store some value called 23. 23 is my data that I want to store. Am I clear here? 23 is the data that I want to store. Now this data 23 will be stored in one memory location. And that location is going to have some address. Some address will be there. 5, 4, 6, 7. I write. What is this 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? That is the address. Address of that location where my data is stored. Now, whenever you want to access this 23, your data, you have to go to that location. And for that, you need to know the address of that location. You need to know the address of that location. Only when you know the address, you can go to that location and you can access your data. But my project has multiple values. This is first value, second value here, third value here. Will all the values will be stored in different locations, or will the values will be stored in the same location? All the values will be stored in what? Different locations. All the values will be stored in different locations. So I have 100 values in my application. So 100 values will be stored in 100 different locations. Now this 100 locations will have same address or different address. Each location is going to have different address. So if you want to access your 100 values, you have to know the 100 addresses. You have to know the 100 addresses. Is the point clear here? We have to know the 100 addresses. Am I clear? You have to know the 100 addresses. Remembering 100 addresses is something difficult job, because if you see, all the addresses are numbers. All the addresses are numbers. All the addresses are numbers, and remembering so many addresses will be difficult. Remembering so many addresses will be difficult. Am I clear here? You cannot remember so many numbers. You have mobile phone, right? In the mobile phone, we have saved lot of numbers. Do you remember all the phone numbers? No, dear, we don't remember all the phone numbers. All the phone numbers are, your mobile numbers are what? Numbers. Remembering the numbers will be difficult. Remembering the numbers will be difficult, dear. So what we do, whenever we save a number, whenever we save a number, we save the number with a name, contact name. And whenever you want to dial any person, you search by name, not by number. Recollecting the names will be easy, numbers will be difficult. Am I right? Recollecting the numbers will be difficult, but recollecting the names will be easy. So now, what I do is, in this location, 23 is my data, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is my address of that location there. I give one name to this location. What name I'm giving? Roll number. What is this roll number doing? Roll number is referring to that location. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is also pointing to the same location. Roll number is also pointing to the same location. Is the point clear here? This 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, what I wrote is called the address. 23 is my data. This roll number, what you're seeing, is called as variable. What do you call here? Variable. Praveen, what is variable? Variable is a name. Is it a name or not? It is a name given to a memory location where we can store some data. That names only are called as variables. So what is the definition of variable, my dear? What is the definition of variable? Variable is a name given to a memory location where we can store some data. Am I clear here? Now, if you want to use that variable in your program, you have to declare that variable. If you want to use that variable in your program, you have to declare that variable. How to declare the variable, Praveen? What is the variable you want? Roll number. There, what you want to store? Int data, short data, byte data. It is your choice what you want to write there. Am I clear here? This is what you have done there. Short roll number means what? Roll number is the name of a variable given to a memory location where we want to store short type of data. Type is your choice, variable name also your choice. If you don't want to write short, you can write int also. It is byte also, long also, you decide what you want, what type you want. This is what the variable declaration. What will variable declaration do? Variable declaration will tell what type of data you are storing into the memory. This is the name given to whom? Memory location. And you're telling this type of data will be stored into this location. That is what variable declaration there. What is syntax here? You have to write data type, give a space, and write the variable name. This is what you should do there. And in case you want to declare multiple variables, you can declare multiple variables also. Variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, and so on. Multiple variables can be declared. Multiple variables can be declared. Am I clear here? This is syntax for declaring the variables there. Or I'll write some examples here. Int roll number. Double marks. Any type, any name. Type is your choice. Name is also your choice. What is this? Roll number is the name of a variable given to a memory location where we can store int type of data. Marks is the name of a variable given to a memory location where we can store double type of data. Grade is the name of a variable given to a memory location where we can store char type of data there. Result is the name of a variable given to a memory location where we can store Boolean type of data. Account number is the name of a variable given to a memory location. Customer ID is the name of a variable given to another location. PIN number is the name of a variable given to another location. Balance is the name of a variable given to another location. Age is the name of a variable given to one more location. In all these locations, I would like to store int type of data. In all these locations, I am going to store int type of data. Int type of data. Int type of data. Am I clear here? This is what you are doing there. This is what you should do. Different declaration of different variables there. So what is variable? How you declare a variable there. Now, when you declare a variable, you can declare any variable. So I write some line is. Is this called variable declaration or not? That is called variable declaration. PID, product ID, any variable I declare. So what is the meaning of this line? PID is the name of a variable given to a memory location where I can store int type of data. Double price I write. This is also called variable declaration. Price is the name of a variable given to a memory location. Price is the name of a variable given to a memory location where we can store double type of data. Where we can store double type of data. This is variable declaration. Now, what happens when you declare a variable? Whenever you declare a variable, memory for that variable will be allocated. Whenever you declare a variable, memory for that variable will be allocated. No, PID is declared with what type here? Int. What is size of int? 4 bytes. So from the entire memory I have here, 4 bytes of memory will be allocated, and that memory location, that 4 bytes will be now called as what you know here? PID. PID is the name given to this 4 bytes. Then price double type, double size 8 bytes. So 8 bytes of memory is going to be allocated here like this. This is price. This is price. Price is the name of a variable given to this 8 bytes of memory. Given to that 8 bytes of memory. PID is the name given to that 4 bytes. Price is the name given to that 8 bytes. Now, when you declare a variable, memory will be allocated. How much memory will be allocated? The amount of memory allocated to a variable. The amount of memory allocated to a variable depends upon the amount of memory allocated to a variable depends upon the data type that you specify. Int 4 bytes, double 8 bytes. Now, once the memory is going to be allocated there, in C language also, when you declare a variable, memory for your variable will be allocated. Memory for your variable will be allocated here. Is the point clear here? Memory for your variable will be allocated. But in C language, after allocating of memory to your variable there, what happens here? In that memory location, it is going to store some values like this. This is some random values, garbage values will be stored there. This is what going to happen there. Am I clear? In C language, once you allocate memory for your variable, the memory location will automatically contain something called as garbage values. The memory location is going to contain automatically garbage values. Am I clear here? That is in C language. And if you start working on this particular garbage values there, then what? It is going to what? Do wrong operations. You are going to work on wrong data. You are going to work on wrong data, dear. That is the problem. So to avoid the problem, what we do in Java language here, once the memory allocation happens here, this location is going to contain something called 0. This location is going to contain something called 0.0. What is that 0.0? They are called as default values. They are called as what? Default values. For every data type, we have one default value. Right? We have 8 data types, right? So what are the 8 types? Byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, and boolean. These are the 8 data types available. The default value of byte is 0. The default value of short is 0. The default value of int is 0. Long is 0. Float is 0.0. Double is 0.0. Char is space. It is not English word space. It is a space that you get when you press your space bar. This one. That is a default value. And for Boolean, the default value is false. So based on your data type, the default values will be stored. PID is what type? Int type. Int default value 0, and that is what is stored 0 here. Price which type? Double type. Double default value 0.0. This is what's stored here. But PID is 0, price is 0.0. Okay, default values are stored, and you don't have to store them. It will be done automatically. But I don't want my variables to contain default values. I want my variable to contain my own values. I want my variable to contain my own values. Then Praveen, what to do? If you want your variable to contain your own values there, what you should do is when you are declaring your variable, there only provide some value like this. At the time of variable declaration only, provide some value. Provide some value. Am I clear here? At the time of variable declaration only, provide some value. This is variable declaration, right? So where you declare only, there only variable name is equal to some value. Variable 1 is equal to some value. Every variable you can provide a value, and this is called as initialization. You are initializing your variable with your own values. What is initialization, Praveen? Initialization means providing a value to the variable for the first time. Providing a value to the variable for the first time is called initialization. If you don't provide any value, then if you do not provide any value here, then Praveen, what will happen, dear? What will happen, the variable will be initialized automatically with default values. The variable will be initialized automatically with default values. Am I clear here? So if you don't want default values, you can initialize your variables with your own values. You can initialize your variables with your own values. Initialization. I have, this is price of some product, petrol price, some gold price, some price. I have some product prices available here. Today the price is 45.6, but in the next day the price may change. Can it change or not? Price is equal to, let's assume the price is increased. It became what? 49.2. Am I clear here? It is increased. It may decrease also. 43.8. It may increase. It may decrease. This is what here also you're giving a value to your variable, and this is called as what? Initialization, and this is called as assignment. What is initialization? What is assignment? Initialization is also providing a value to a variable. Assignment is also providing a value to the variable. Initialization is providing a value to the variable. Assignment is also providing a value to the variable. Both are providing, but what is the difference? Initialization is a process of providing a value to the variable for the first time. Initialization is a process of providing a value to the variable for the first time. Assignment is a process of providing a value to the variable after initialization. After initialization. So initialization is a process of providing a value to the variable for the first time. Assignment is a process of providing a value to the variable after initialization. Initialization can be done only one time. Initialization can be done only one time, first time. But assignment can be done what? Assignment can be done any number of times. It is your decision how many times you want to do. Am I clear here? Now, when I write int PID equal to 12 here, we are declaring one variable there. And memory also getting allocated. How much memory will be allocated? How much memory will be allocated? Memory will be allocated, but how much memory will be allocated? 4 bytes. Why 4? Why 4? Why 4 bytes here? You are going to allocate 4 bytes. This int is a data type. This int is a data type that you know there. You can call this as data type, or you can even call it by some word called keyword. I mean, what are these keywords there? The words that have predefined meaning in Java language. The words whose meaning is reserved in the Java language are called as what? Keywords. Am I clear here? The words which has predefined meaning in Java language, whose meaning is reserved in what? Java language. Such words are called as keywords. Am I clear here? Such words are called as keywords. And this 12, what you are writing there, it is a value, right? It is a value. It is a value. Now, any value that you store into a variable, will be called as literals. 12 is a literal, 43.8 is a literal, this 45.6 is a literal. Any value that you store into a variable will be called as literal. Will be called as literals. Am I clear here? Any value, it can be any type, doesn't matter there. Any value that you store into a variable will be called as a literal. No. You understand the word keywords, you understand the word literals there. What is this PID? PID is the name of a variable. PID is the name of a variable there. And you can call that PID as a variable. You can call this PID as a variable, or you can call by one more name that is called as identifier. It is called as identifier. What is identifier? Any name that is used in the program. Any name that is used in the program for the purpose of identification. I repeat here. Any name that is used in your program for the purpose of identification. Any name. It can be a variable name. It can be a variable name or a class name or a method name. Any name. Any name that is used in the program for the purpose of identification. For the purpose of identification will be called as identifier. But now these keywords you cannot increase or you cannot decrease here. Means what? Whatever list is given by the Java people, the same list you're supposed to use. You cannot increase. This list cannot be increased or decreased. You cannot create a new keyword. Am I clear here? You cannot increase the list. You cannot decrease the list. Fixed. You have to use as it is. Literals is your choice. Any value you can write and you can say it as literal. Identifier is also your choice only. Identify is also your choice only. But still, there are some rules. Am I clear here? These are some rules. What are rules to write the identifier? Let me tell the rules here. The first point, very simple rules here, but you have to remember these rules at any cost. You have to remember these rules at any cost. You have to remember these rules at any cost. What rules, Praveen? The first rule is identifier can be a combination of alphabets, digits, underscore symbol, and dollar symbol. Apart from these two symbols, we cannot use any other symbol. Identifier can be a combination of alphabets, digits. Alphabets can be lowercase also, uppercase also. Digits 0 to 9, you can add anything there. And you can use underscore symbol. This underscore symbol is called as connecting symbol. This is called as connecting symbol and this is called as currency symbol. These are the only two symbols allowed. Apart from these two symbols, any other symbol if you see, you have to say invalid. Apart from these two symbols, if you see any other symbol, you have to say invalid only. Is the point clear here? Second point, identifier must not begin with a digit. Digits are allowed. Digit can be in second place, third place, 10th place, last place, but not in the first place. First place you can write what, then you can write alphabets, you can write underscore, you can write dollar. Only digit should not be there in the first place. Only digit should not be there in the first place. Am I clear here? Only digit should not be there in the first place. Rule 3. Identifier must not contain spaces. If you have two words, join them together or put an underscore between those two words, but don't give a space there. Spaces are not allowed. Rule 4. The keywords of Java language should not be used as identifier because those words already have some meaning, right? Those words already have a meaning. They already have a meaning. Am I clear here? The keywords of Java language should not be used as identifier, except that keywords, other language keywords also you can use here, no issues. Other language keywords also you can use there, no issues. Java keywords should not be used as identifiers. Java keyword should not be used as identifiers there. And when you are writing an identifier, there is no restriction on the length. There is no restriction on the length of the identifier. Am I clear here? There is no restriction on the length of the identifier. There is no restriction on the length of the identifier. But we recommend to write less than 16. But we recommend you to write less than 16. Am I clear here? We recommend to write what? Less than 16. Why, Praveen? There, if you write a variable name like this, I write this much big name. Imagine, this is my variable name. This is my variable name. No issues, you can write this much also. But whenever you want a variable in your program, you would write this much big name. It will be time consuming. Am I clear here? If every time you write this much big name, it will be time consuming and the code size is also going to increase. Maintenance will be difficult there. To avoid that problem there, we recommend you to write a small length with what? Smaller size. So recommendation is what you know here. Try to write less than 16. No, Praveen, my lucky number 18. You write 18, you write 20, no one is going to stop you. This is a recommendation. There is no rule for the length of your identifier. Length can be anything, but we recommend you to write less than 16. Is the point clear here? We recommend to write less than 16. That is the rule there. I write here int x is equal to something called 23. What is the variable name? What is the variable name? X. What is the value I stored? What is the value I stored? 23. 23 is the value I stored into my variable called x. What is this 23? Is this 23 your variable? Sorry, is it 23 a roll number? Is it your marks? What is it? What is it? It can be a roll number. It can be your marks. It can be your pin code. It can be your anything there. But it is not clear. But what I do now, I go for what you know here. Int, I just write here roll number equal to 23. When I see this variable now here, I am clear. Oh, 23 is my roll number. I can easily understand. Is a point clear? I can easily understand there. Or I am writing application for a theater. So I write here what here, seat number equal 23. The moment I see it, I can understand, oh, 23 is my seat number. This is valid but not meaningful. This is meaningful and appropriate to the application I am developing there. Appropriate to the application that I am developing there. Is the point clear here? The names of the identifiers must be meaningful and appropriate to the application that you are developing. The names of the identifiers must be meaningful and appropriate to the application that you are developing. Appropriate to the application you are developing there. Meaningful names you write. When someone sees your name, you should be in a position to understand. Am I clear here? These are 6 rules that you're supposed to follow for writing a identifier. Are the 6 rules clear here? So whenever you are writing any name, it may be a variable name or a class name or a method name, you need to follow this particular 6 rules. You need to follow this particular 6 rules, dear. Yes, dear. I am trying to write some locations, one capital letter here. Seat number or wherever I write there, roll number. If you observe there, I wrote some letters capital. There are some rules for this also. I'll discuss these rules there. There are some rules here. Definitely, I'm going to talk about the rules now. Is the rule for this identifier clear, dear? No. So any name has to follow this particular rules there. Now you know what is variable, how to declare a variable, and what are the rules to write identifier, all these points here. Now dear, if you are developing a program in any language, every programming language has something called structure, and you need to know the structure of that particular language. Every programming language has some structure, and you need to follow the structure of that particular language. Only when you know the structure of that particular language, you will be able to what? Develop the application there. So let's start writing a program there. So to understand the program, we need to understand what? We need to know the structure of the Java program. We need to know the structure of the Java program there. So what is the structure of the Java program? Is this Java language an object-oriented language or not? This is a object-oriented language. Java language is a object-oriented programming language. Java language is a object-oriented programming language. Everything in Java language has to be in the form of objects. Everything should be in the form of objects. Am I clear, dear? Everything has to be in the form of objects. Now, to create the objects, we must have what dear? Class. For that, first you have to write a class. So Java program will contain something called classes. The Java program will contain something called classes, dear. Am I clear here? It will contain something called classes. And to write a class, we have to use a keyword called class keyword. We have to use what here? Class keyword. class keyword followed by, you have to write the name of a class. You have to write the name of a class, dear. Class name. You have to write the class name. Now, what is should be class name? The class name is your choice. You can write any valid Java identifier. Just now we learned some rules, right? That it has to follow these rules there, and you have to write the name there. So it is your choice how you write the class. Am I clear here? Now, to begin the class, we write a flower basis like this, and this is the end of the class. Beginning of the class, end of the class. This is called as class declaration. This is called as class declaration. You know variable declaration, no? Data type followed by variable name. The same way, this is called as class declaration. Class declaration. Write the class keyword, class name, begin the class, end the class. Now inside this class, what you can write, Praveen? You can write different things there. Praveen, what all things you can write inside your class there? Inside the class, I can have something called as variables. You already know how to declare variables and all there. What is the purpose of variables? The purpose of the variables is to store some value. The purpose of the variables is to store some value. Am I clear here? The purpose of the variables is to store some value. Along with these variables inside your class, you can write something called methods. Purpose of variables is to store some value. Purpose of methods is to perform some operations. Is to perform some operations. These two things, what you're writing inside the class, will be called as the members of the class. Will be called as what you know here? Members of the class. The variables and methods inside your class are called as members of the class. Are called as what here? Members of the class. Members of the class. And a class can contain any number of members. It is your decision how many members you want to write. Am I clear here? You can write any number of members here. You decide how many members you want to write. There is no restriction there. Variables and methods are called as members, and a class can contain any number of members. You decide how many members you want to write. It is your decision. Am I clear? Along with these members there, execution of your Java program. Execution of the Java program will be always done by JVM. Execution will be always done by JVM, and the execution will always begin from something called as main method. It will always begin from main method, and that main method has some syntax, and the syntax of your main method is what you know here: public static void main with what you know here, string args, and this is the beginning of your main method, end of the main method. Inside your main method, we can write some statements. I mean, how many statements you can write? You can write any number of statements. It is your choice how many statements you want to write there. But every statement that you write there must what? End with a semicolon. Every statement must end with a semicolon. Is the point clear here? This is how you should write the main method there. And there are a lot of points about this particular main method there. We'll talk about those points in the next session tomorrow. We'll write the first program also tomorrow, dear. We'll write the first program, dear, tomorrow. Just try to recollect these points and come back, dear. We'll continue with tomorrow some more points. Am I clear, dear? See you tomorrow morning. Thank you.